I got to tell you, honestly, I think Todd, with where he's at, and we talked about this earlier, you got to temper the expectation level. And I think the biggest thing right now, you're in a kind of a reestablishing mode. I said this before, it's not rebuilding. I would stay away from using that term.
What about the word tank when you hear the word tank?
No one's tanking.
Well, you and I both know that, but the media writes that, and when they let go of David Harris and they let go of Darrell Rivas, they let go of Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker and Nick Mango and Gilchrist and everything else.
Every one of those players you mentioned are the same things that they're doing up in New England because they're on the later side of their careers.
Right.
You have younger players you need to find out about. And the only one that I would just argue and say, David Harris to me was a leader in the locker room. And that's the one guy maybe I didn't understand that move, to be quite honest with you, because I think that you want to have some leadership. That's the one thing right now, to me right now, when you look at Todd, for Todd Bowles, is he's got to find out who the leaders are in that locker room because it's a very, very young team.
What would you do with Sheldon Richardson and Muhammad Wilkerson? You know, last year they get sat for a quarter against the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Dolphins, I think, scored 21 points when those guys were not on the field. And they could not come back and overcome the loss of those guys on the field. Now, I'm not saying they were directly – that was a direct result of what happened to them. But let's face it, they're two great players that should have been on the field. They weren't on the field. The Dolphins go on to score a couple of maybe 3 touchdowns, and it cost their team a game. Yeah,
but Todd Bowles is in his second year, and some of the things that they did, you have to sit there and put your foot down because other people are watching. You can't let them get away with whether it's missing a meeting, missing a plane, whatever it is. Those are the type of things that you have to create accountability in your locker room. And I tell you what, if you lose that, then you've lost your team. So I agree with Todd.